Hey everybody, I am the Desert Kiddo and welcome to the Video Game Kiddo Review Show where I review it so you don't have to. And today we are going to be doing a brand new video game that I'm going to review, which is for, of course, this lovely machine here, the Nintendo Switch. And the game I'm going to review today is, of course, the sequel of the game that made the FPS genre look a lot more fresher, but of course the tired and already stale Call of Duty and Battlefield fare. Now, Splatoon 1 was a fantastic game, and I absolutely loved it to bits. And I thought, hey, I might as well think Splatoon 2 is going to be a great game. But do I think Splatoon 2 is a great game? Well, find out. This is my review of Splatoon 2 for the Nintendo Switch. I cannot believe after 5 months since the Nintendo Switch was launched, people have been going after this console. So much demand for a new Nintendo machine, unlike a certain video game hating scrub. But regardless, the console is a fantastic machine, and this video review is the first one of a Nintendo Switch game. There has never been a better time to review the recent release of this video, Splatoon 2. The first Splatoon was amazing and considered a fresh take on the already tired, monotonous and stale shooter genre, in which nowadays is back in full swing thanks to well-received titles such as Overwatch, the 2016 Doom reboot, and re-releases of older shooters such as Duke Nukem 3D. However, I haven't played Splatoon since the final Splatfest last year and the discontinuation of the Wii U earlier this year. But does Splatoon 2 improve on its predecessor? Well, let's begin. Okay, so as most of you are aware already, Splatoon 2's existence began when the Switch was unveiled last October, with the game's footage clips being shown alongside other games that showcases the capabilities of the console. I, amongst other people, originally thought the game was going to be an enhanced port of the first Splatoon, alongside Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. But unlike that game, this game ended up being a sequel instead. Earlier this year, the game had a global test fire, demos at gaming and comic conventions. I ended up playing this game back in MCM back in May and won twice, yeah. And a Splatfest demo at the weekend before this game's launch. The game ended up getting positive reviews from critics and fans, as well as having a strong opening weekend in both the UK and Japan. Although the game initially was behind the number 1 at this time, Crash Bandicoot has since fallen down to number 6 this week, with people praising the style that made the original great, while the added new features kept the game fresh and exciting to play, which I approve of considering the amount of new ideas this game delivers. But does it do it? Well, that's for us to find out now. But before we talk about the gameplay, let's see how the story fares. Prior to the game's launch, there was a backstory that Nintendo created a release that predates the game's events called the Squid Sister Stories, which tells us what happened 9 months since the last Splatfest. Although Marie was victorious in the last Splatfest and no hard feelings on Callie's side was shown, the duo spent a lot more time apart due to their solo careers, with not much time between their scheduled appearances at music shows and festivals to spend time together more frequently. Despite this, the music stars had spent time one day at a mall as a sign of a catch-up to show that their bond was not going to break off anytime soon. However, when returning back to Inkopolis after seeing her family, Marie found that Callie has not gone missing from their apartment, and more notably, the Great Sapfish has gone as well. Meaning one thing, the Octarians are back with a vengeance. Wasting no time at all, Marie decides to dress up in a kimono and head to Octo Valley in order to help out the Inkling recruit known as Agent 4. And explains what has happened. So Agent 4 is out to investigate the disappearance of the Great Sapfish and Callie. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't got the video game or, of course, the Nintendo Switch and wish to avoid potential spoilers in the process, then skip to this part in the video right here. I will give you 3 seconds. Throughout the hero modes, you'll get sheltered to help you out and give you weapons to get valuable data in order to go through the levels and through the story mode. After defeating a certain boss, you'll be able to hear transmissions from Marie, Sheldon, and a mysterious being who sounds familiar. However, getting to the final boss area, we find out that the mysterious voice is none other than Marie's cousin, Callie. Oh my god! So Callie was squidnapped to be brainwashed by the Octarian leader, DJ Octavio, who wanted to get a revenge for his defeat last time round, and revealed that he wanted to use Callie as a slave to steal the Great Zapfish to power up his new machine, the Octa-King Robo 2. However, with the help of Agent 4 and Sheldon, Marie manages to shoot the hypnoshades off Callie so she can snap her out of a trance. Agent 4 finishes off DJ Octavio with the help of the Squid Sisters performing their song, with a modified Rainmaker Sheldon gives to them, and gives the coup de grande to the Octarian army once again. The next day, Off the Hook duo Pearl and Marina was startled when not only the Great Zapfish was reclaimed, but Callie being back as well and found safe and sound. I think the game's plot is a lot more detailed than the last game. In fact, the Squid Sisters stories really tells how the Octarian menace was back in full swing to not only steal the Great Zapfish again, but also control Callie to aid them for world domination, with the Inkling player character being aided by Marie and Sheldon in game. So you can tell the story had more relevance than in the last game, story-wise. So now on to the most important aspect, the gameplay. Splatoon 2 handles exactly like the last game, being a multiplayer-focused third-person shooter with different game modes and a single-player campaign to retrieve the stolen Great Zapfish from the Octarians. In addition to this, a new co-op mode called Salmon Run has been added into the mix, so there is more options for those who enjoyed the last Splatoon. Let's have a look at Hero Mode first. Like in the last game, Hero Mode has you go through levels full of Octarian scumbags which you need to defeat in order to move on through the levels. And you also have specific gimmicks you have to utilise to your advantage as well. The goal is to get to the end and retrieve the Zapfish that's in the end of the level, and booyah! Back to the hub world to move on to the next stage. In addition to this, you are not just confined to just having the hero splatter shot, you also have others that Sheldon will give you over the course of the game, such as the slosher, the charger, the dualies, the splatling, the roller, and so on. With each initial run through having a specific weapon that you need to complete the stage with, each level has secret areas which once again has the sunken scrolls which unlocks a page of trivia, which is interesting of how Inklings evolved since the last game, Sardinium, which can be used to upgrade your weapons along tank capacity and buy new secondary weapons alongside the eggs you collect once you defeat enemies, and meal tickets which can be used to perk up your own int or EXP when you play the multiplayer, and to give to Krusty Sean in the hub. Also, items are also available such as fish eggs which can be used as currency, armor which gives you an extra hit, and even special moves such as bomb rushes, curl bomb launchers, splat packs, Tinter missiles, and the splashdown. Throughout your adventure, you will come across grind rails, rotating platforms, moving platforms which uses switches, all using glowing buds to propel you forward, and even bowling balls? What is this game? Splatoon 2 or bowling with Octarians? Fine, you made your point. However, if single player campaigns don't take your fancy or not your cup of tea, there is the multiplayer mode which, like the last game, Splatoon is the main mode of the game and the main focus. Once again, you start off with Turf Wars, which is helping your team fill the most of the map with your colour while preventing your rivals from inking their own colour in the space of 3 minutes. By inking the turf, you get more points as you go along, as well as filling your special gauge, which depending on your chosen weapon and to even the odds in your favour, as well as giving your rivals their just desserts. Every time you finish a match online, you are given EXP and cash on how well you did. If you win, you get a 1000 and cash bonus as well as a win EXP bonus. But if you lose, you still get EXP and cash. Alongside the regular turf war, all the ranked battle modes return in this game, such as Splat Zones, Tower Control, and Rainmaker. Splat Zones is the same mode as last time. One team captures the zone, and the other team needs to gain control of it. But now you can see who's gaining control of it. Tower Control has checkpoints in which you have to defend the tower and finally Rainmaker, which this time round fires off projectiles instead of tornadoes with a huge blast radius. There is also League Battle as well, but as of this video I don't have the rank to qualify, so those who are pouring their salt onto my wounds, I will take that salt shake and smash it on the floor, thank you very much. Weapons in this game include your standard splat shots, rollers, arrow sprays, blasters, brushes, chargers, splatnings, sloshers and gals. But there are new weapons in this game such as the dualies and the Brella weapons. But like in the last game, you need to level up to be worthy of wielding such weapons and reach level 4 to start purchasing your arsenal. Each weapon has a secondary fire and a special that once again you need to charge up before really unleashing. Sub-weapons include the splat bombs, suction bombs, burst bombs, point sensors, sprinklers, squid beacons and so on. But there are also new ones in the mix such as auto bombs, curling bombs and toxic mist beakers. The specials all range from returning ones such as bomb rushes, but there are also new ones such as ink jets, curling bomb launchers, splashdowns, ink armor, ink storms, ballers and of course the stingray. Local multiplayer returns this time round and you can be able to play up to 8 players and utilise the Switch's portability to play with others nearby, which is a big improvement over the original's bare bones multiplayer. But if competitiveness isn't your cup of tea, there is of course the co-op mode, Salmon Run. In this mode you and 3 others must survive 3 waves of salmonoids who give you eggs once you defeat them, but the main focus is getting the gold eggs from the boss salmonoids and putting them into the goal that Mr. Grizz sets up for you. Depending on the tide and time of day, the boss salmonids will vary in types and they will need to be defeated if you want to get their golden eggs. They range from the steel eel which tries to surround you with their ink and they are very annoying, stingers which try to eliminate you with their stingray laser, steelheads which throws big bombs at you and are their weakness when preparing them, and finally the very intimidating boss! No! If one of your teammates are down or if you are down, you can try to save their life by inking the spots they are in, as well as them inking your spots just to save your life. But you can still get gold eggs if you're in the lifesaver mode. If you collect the right amount of eggs in time, you move on to the next wave, but if there are not enough eggs collected or if the whole team are wiped out, it will end the session automatically with the result either retaining pay or getting a pay cut if a loss has occurred, but if victorious, your pay grades will be raised. I like how they decided to give this game a very fresh mode if anyone wants to break from the online multiplayer competition, so it works. You can also give your Inkling his and her own look by buying gear such as shoes, shirts, tops, hair gear and so on. But the more you level up and have your fresh meter filled, the more luxury items will become available and you'll be able to unlock more abilities depending on which gear you've equipped, so it's nice to see that this feature is retained from the last game. So in my honest truth, this gameplay is considering in my eyes, incredible! So what did I think of the level designs? Well, I think Nintendo once again did an amazing job with it, and it shows how creative and interesting the levels are in terms of fitting with the core game mechanics. The hero mode stages have some well thought up designs which accommodate the level specific gimmicks rather well. The multiplayer maps are also well designed, and I think I had some great times from maps such as Muscle Forge Fitness, Inkblot Art Academy, Sturgeon Shipyards, the Starfish main stage, and I even think the reef is like Urchin Underpass, but that stage isn't in the game yet. So this is more of a redesigned version of Urchin Underpass. However, I'm not too keen to see Moray Towers return, as that was my least favourite map in the previous game, but I really get nostalgic kickbacks with Port Mackerel though, so that's a good thing. The designs for the Salmon Run maps are also pretty cool as well, because it is difficult to predict how much of the stage you are required to do the job of exterminating the salmonids on. It is proof that the designs are well incredible, and of course considering there will be new maps available soon, we'll have to see it to believe it. So on to the game's presentation, and my god, the game's graphics are amazing. Because of the Switch's higher graphical capabilities compared to the Wii U, the presentation is more fleshed out and packing more detail than the first game. The visuals really pop out, especially in the Splatfest maps, the hero mode stages, and even the multiplayer maps with various effects and glorious environments. They really are amazing for an early Switch title. The animation is also impressive as well. The cutscenes in the game and during the hero mode, as well as the character animations in game, really are well animated, and once again Nintendo really knew what they were doing for animation wise. The frame rate once again is at a super smooth 60 frames per second in-game action, but at the hub only 30 frames per second again, but that still doesn't knock the quality of the presentation one bit. I still think the graphical quality is top notch for a first party Switch title, so I'll give props to Nintendo again for that. In terms of the audio, the soundtrack is amazing. Like the last game, the hero mode has more upbeat poppy elements in the music, and some tunes return from the first game's story mode soundtrack, while of course the multiplayer bulk of the game has the more rocky part of the soundtrack, with a lot more new tunes given around from the fictional band Wet Floor, with the Salmon Run mode having a more 1930s musical style with techno elements that really sends that kind of creepy suspense when you're about to get trounced on by a bunch of salmonids. So Nintendo's music team did an amazing job here. Here are a few examples I would like to show you. The sound effects are still amazing, and the Inkling voices are still a joy to my ears and never get irritating. I still think that the native Inkling language is still a great feature to deviate from the normal voice acting, and this is what this series needs to continue on, using its own native language familiar to past Legend of Zelda titles. To conclude, the audio is amazing with an incredible soundtrack, great sound effects and impressive voices. Okay, so now that I've got the main bulk of the review out of the way, what didn't I like about this game? Well, first of all, although the Wi-Fi capabilities of the Switch is considerably better than the Wii U's, and the matchmaking is kind of better than the first game, waiting times at the worst of them are still unbearable. But considering this review, the game is early at launch, so Nintendo will have time to address this issue, so I'll be able to get into a match as quickly as possible. But server connect and connection issues are still rife, and I'm still kind of disappointed that this minor issue still persists. Also, I'm going to be facing the flames and ear of the crowd, but the Switch app wasn't really designed for the voice chat to begin with. I'm the only part of the minority who thinks Splatoon 2 is there to look at the stats, map rotation, gear to order, and other things related to this game. Besides, I'm not a voice chat person in game. I'm only the person who lets my gameplay do all the talking. Also, is it me, or do I think the Splatfests need a bit of a major overhaul and better balancing? Because most of the time, I always seem to play my own side, and rarely do I get any games with the opposition. It seemed like the last Splatfest was fixed, and I believe this needed to be addressed, Nintendo. And if anybody attempts to sprinkle salt on my head, I swear to God, I will take that salt shaker and flush it down the toilet. Trust me, I do not like these insults and don't take them very kindly. So, being a sequel to a well-received title, do I think Splatoon 2 is the definitive sequel? Absolutely. In my eyes, the game retains the core gameplay that made the first Splatoon great, with a bunch of additions made to keep the overall experience fresh and exciting for people to keep coming back to. The single player campaign is more expanded and much more enjoyable, the multiplayer is amazing, and the co-op Salmon Run mode really keeps you on your knees and coming back for more. Despite some of the problems I've just mentioned, this game still retains the fresh shooter style that some FPS games lack in regard, such as Call of Duty, Battlefield and so on. It also has amazing visuals, a very enjoyable soundtrack, well-designed stages for all modes, incredibly fun game mechanics and so on. If you have already got a Switch, get this game and give it a fire. You will be assured this game will keep you hooked until the next best thing arrives. And so I am going to give Splatoon 2 a 9.5 out of 10. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I thought the game was really fantastic, and it really proves that Splatoon 2 definitely improves on its predecessor and continued its fresh format while adding a lot of stuff in it. It really proves that Nintendo did an amazing job once again, and it really does pretty much prove that the Switch can absolutely have a lot of potential in it. It's early in its life cycle, but of course we still have a lot more to go for the Switch. And this game definitely proves that with its creativity, the Switch can actually have a lot more copies sold by Christmas. The Christmas period is going to be interesting. I thought it might be best if we actually had there's going to be a lot more new maps, a lot more new weapons, new features, and of course rebalancing of both the multiplayer and the splat beds, hopefully to make it a lot more fun experience. So with that being said, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you liked it, then please hit that like button, subscribe to my channel for future reviews, and remember, until next time,